Hello everyone, this is Moby the Yarny, and I thank you for joining me today. And this is part 1 for the tutorial for the Summer Night Shawl. And the original one right here is done in a mandala cake of unicorn, and I'm going to be doing the tutorial in these colors, which is, I'm using a roll with it, red heart roll with it sparkle, and this is the color that I'm using. It's got the pinks and black and grays, and this colorway is called Gray Whisper, but I love the sparkles in it. So there's probably only going to be 2 videos for this shawl because the rows are repeating rows. If you see, I'll show you in this one right here. We start with 2 repeating post rows, and then we have 4 rows of V-stitches, and then we have 4 more rows of post rows, and then we have V-stitches, and then we have some fan rows. And then we have, it repeats again with the post stitches, and then I do have a few rows of clusters, which we'll go over, but that's basically the whole shawl is repeating between the V-stitches and the post stitches. But the way it's done, it makes it very nice and airy, and it comes out really nice. But I think the yarn you choose will work for you for the shawl. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So I'm using a J hook, and this is a 4-weight yarn, but it's a very thin 4-weight. As you can see, it's closer to the original shawl I did was a 3-weight, and it's not much bigger than that 3-weight. So it should turn out really nice. This one still has some nice, if I were to block this, it would still have some nice lacy stitching to it. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. However you like to do, if you like to do a slip knot, I always tie on because that's how I was taught to do it. So I'm going to get started with this. We're going to start with a chain of 6. And I'm assuming if you're doing this, you already know how to crochet. So chain of 6. If you don't, I do have some crochet 101 videos. I'm going to tell you they're not great, but I do start from chaining, putting your yarn on the hook, all that good stuff. Okay, we're going to slip stitch right back into your first chain. Remember, we never count the chain that's on your hook. Okay, I got marker on my finger, sorry. Okay, and we're going to slip stitch those together right there, and then we're going to chain 3. Okay, and that's going to count as our first double. And right now we're going to put 5 more doubles right back through that loop we just made. My fingers are a little bit stiff today. So there's 2, we need 4 more. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Need 1 more. And then we're going to chain 2. And we're going to do 6 doubles on the other side, right back into this loop. And the shawl does work up pretty fast. Okay, that's 4. Need 2 more. Okay, and this is your first row completed. And if you need to, put a stitch marker in your point so you don't lose track of that. Remember after each row to check your stitching and make sure whatever you have on one side you have on the other. Keep your symmetry. Okay, and then we're going to chain 3 and turn our work. Okay, and right off we're going to put 2 more doubles right into the same stitch. That's going to help us get that wing effect to the shawl. Okay, and now we are going to, for this row, we are going to double in between the posts. We're not going to double into the top V's here. We're going to go in between the posts. So we're going to skip these first 2 here that's underneath. We're going to go in between right here, and we're going to chain 1 in between. So we're going to chain 1 right here, and then we're going to double right here after the second. You count over 2, double in between the posts, chain 1. Then we're going to double in between the next post, chain 1, double in between the next post, chain 1, double in between the next post, chain 1, and then we're going to do a single V-stitch in our center, which is single V-stitch is just a double, chain 2, and a double. Then we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to start that same process going down our slope on the other side. Double in between the posts, chain 1, double in between the next post, chain 1, and keep doing that till we get to the second to the last post. Well, we're going to go right to this one right here because we have to add those 3 to make it even. Okay, when we get to the last one, let's count here. We have this cluster here we made. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. On this side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We're going to do our 2 doubles in here. So we have 2 on this, 3 on this one here. I didn't count this, the other one that's in there. Okay, so we're going to do 2 more right into this last stitch here. Because we're going to start with 3 and end with 3. So we need to do 2 more right here. I can see the hole here. And again, I have my glasses on my head, which is not where they need to be. Okay, I'm going to find that stitch here. Okay, we're going to, this time, okay, if you look at it this way again, make sure you have your symmetry and your stitches all the same. Okay, on row 3, we're going to chain 5 and turn. Okay, and then we're going to do a double back into that same stitch. And that's going to count as our first V-stitch right here. And then we are going to On this row only for the V-stitch, we're going to chain 1, and we are going to skip these first 2 posts, and we're going to do a V-stitch into this third. We're not going to do on the top. We're going to go into the post again with the V-stitch, which is a double, chain 2, and double back into that post. And we're not going to chain 2. We're going to go over to, let's see, we're going to go to we're going to go over 2 stitches, 2 posts right here, count over. We're going to do a V-stitch here, which is double, chain 2, double, right into the post. And we're going to do that again, go over 2, which will bring you right before the center. And then in the center this time, we're going to do a double V-stitch, which is 2 doubles, chain 2, and 2 doubles. It's going to widen that center a bit to keep more track of it. And then right on your next post, in between the next post, you're going to do a single V-stitch. Okay, we're going to go over 2 posts, do the next V-stitch. Oh, my yarn's getting tangled. Okay. Working in the posts gives it an airier look to the shawl. We're going to go over 2 more posts and do a single V-stitch. Okay, and this one, we're going to go we're going to skip these 2 and go to the last stitch. We're going to chain 1 here, so it is the last one. We're going to go to the stitch itself instead of the post. We're going to do the double, chain 2, and then a double in the same stitch. Okay, so after the first row of V-stitches, this is what it should look like. Okay, and then we are going to, for rows 4 through 6, they are all V-stitch rows. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to chain 5 here, and turn our work, and then we're going to double into that first V-stitch. Now we're not going to chain on these. We're going to go right to the next V-stitch, and we're going to do a V-stitch in the V-stitch. Single V-stitches in all the V-stitches. We're going to do that all the way across. I think I need to pull out some more yarn. Okay. And when you get to the space right before, you still have a V-stitch right here. It's just a little squishy there, but there's still one there. Don't forget that one. And then again in the center, we will do the double V-stitch. 2 doubles. Chain 2 and 2 doubles. Okay, and then find your first V-stitch. It's right after that one. Do a single V-stitch, 1 double, chain 2, 1 double, and then continue the pattern back down, V-stitch in every V-stitch. It's on the last stitch, the last V-stitch. I start it in the center, but then I end it in the last stitch. Okay, then chain 5, and turn, and then begin the next row of the V-stitches. So we have 2 more rows. We have row 5 and 6 to do still. So 2 more rows of V-stitches. You can fast forward me if you want, but I'm just gonna keep stitching along here because this works. This kind of works up pretty quick. But I like how it looks. I've made a lot of shawls over the past 42 years, and I just kind of put some of my favorite stitches in that makes a nice airy shawl, because in the summer and spring you don't want anything that's really thick. Sometimes it gets chilly in the evening and you want something just to cover you up. Okay, and don't forget this one next. Oop, double. And then we're going to do the double V-stitch in the center. Which I forgot to do on the last one. No, I did. I just put this in the wrong spot. It's the double. Okay. Okay. Okay, a couple more to go. Okay, last one. And don't forget to put the last one in the last stitch. Okay, and chain 5 and turn. And this is the last V-stitch row. Just keep track of your points there. Okay, start with a double back into that first, and then V-stitch in every V-stitch. I'm going to pull some yarn out here. And if I am going too fast for you, you remember you can go to where the description box is, and there's the gear icon that you can push to slow it down, or you can just hit the stop button or rewind, or and this one I'm going to go right in between these two doubles. It's leaving too big of a gap here, which I've done on a couple of them. Then we're going to do a double V-stitch in the center. And then on the other side, I'm going to do the same thing, a V-stitch in between those two. And continue your pattern down the other side. Three more to go. I hope you can see the pink on pink all right. This is more like a purplish pink, but then come to the last one. And go into the last stitch. Okay, now in this row we're going to chain 3 and turn our work. Okay, and now we're going to do, we're starting the fanning row. We're going to do 7 double crochets into that, into our V-stitch here. So it's going to be for a total of 8, counting the first, that chain 3 that we just did. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, we're going to find our next V-stitch, which is here. We're going to do a single crochet into that V-stitch. We're going to find the next V-stitch, and we're going to do 7 doubles. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, 6 and 7. And then we find the next V-stitch and we single crochet into that. And the next V-stitch we do 7 doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then the next one we single crochet. Okay, and we find the one right before the center, and we're going to do, on this one we're going to do 4 doubles. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now in our center we're going to do 3 doubles, chain 2, 3 doubles, and then we're going to find our next V-stitch, which is right here. We're going to use this one, and we're going to do the 4 doubles, and then the next one we're going to do the single crochet, and then you see how that makes a nice point in your center, and this gives you a nice fan out for it's starting to make that nice wing effect for your shawl. Then we start again with our 7 doubles in the next V-stitch. Sorry, I got caught. Six and 7, and we single in the next V-stitch, and 7 doubles in the next V-stitch. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And we single in the next V-stitch. And on our last one, we're going to do 8 doubles because we started with 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and here's our 8th. Okay, then we're going to chain 3 and turn our work. Okay, and here's what it should be looking like. Everything should look, should have your little wingtips and your little point in the top. And we're going to start row 8. Yes, and this is going to be right, row 8, yes. All right, so we're going to do 2 more doubles in the same stitch right into this stitch here. And again, we're going to be working in between the posts, but we're not going to be chaining 1 this time. We're going to go over to the 3rd post here. Yes, the 3rd. We're going to double in between each of these posts in the fan so we can spread it out a little bit. Go in between each of these posts here. Okay, on this first row only, we are not going to do anything with this chain 1 space. We're going to go into this space, but we're going to skip over the chain 1 space and go right over to here. So it gives a little bit of a gap there. It just adds to the airiness of the shawl, giving it a more lacy look. This is the first time I've ordered this roll with it from Red Heart. I didn't even know they made cakes from Red Heart, but I like the sparkle in this. It's pretty nice. I'm hoping you can see the sparkle on camera. Sometimes you can't when you use a sparkle yarn. So we're just going to keep doing this with all the way up, and this is the next rows 8 through 12 will be doing these posts, working in between the posts. Okay, that brings us to the center. We are going to do a double V-stitch. No, I think we do a single. We do a single V-stitch here, which is one double, chain two, and one double. And then we go back to in between each post. So go back down the other side. And we're going to stick to the single V-stitch during the post rows. Okay, getting closer to the edge and the end of this first post row. Okay, when you get to the last two, then we're going to do, well, the last one here, we're going to do the three doubles in the last stitch here. I don't have my boy hook, so it's harder to get through that stitch. I've got it stuck in another project. I have a couple of them, the boy hooks, but they're stuck in another project. I have too many whips going on right now. It's not in the right place. I don't like the way it looks. Okay, so it's going to be rows 8 through 12. We'll just continue doing these post stitches. Okay, let me see. Okay, so if you want to do those, then I'll meet you back up with that. Okay, so here I did the end post stitches, and then after that there's 2 rows of V-stitches. So I'm going to, on this one, just pretend that I did, yes, I'm going to pretend I did 4 more rows of these post stitches, just for time's sake. And I'll add the V-stitches, and it's just another row of, I did 2 rows of V-stitches, and then we did the fan stitches again. And I'll show you on the original one, after the fan stitches, then I do a row. Okay, we did 4 rows of, we did these rows of the, oh, we were down here. Okay, we started here, then we did the V-stitches, and then the fans, and then the 5 rows of the post stitches, and then 2 rows of V-stitches, and then it was another row of the fans, and then 2 rows of the post stitches, and then we did the clusters, a cluster row, and then it ended with a row of singles going around. So that's basically the whole repeat. I just alternated between the V-stitches, the post stitches, the fans, and then the clusters, which there's less of the clusters than anything. Really, I just picked a yarn that worked the pattern for me. So it made basically the design, I just kept alternating. And then I ended it with I did a row with the clusters, a single, a V-stitch, and then the fans, because I like how the fans made the ending. So I think I'm going to end today's video with the 7 rows, I mean the 7, not 7, the 5 rows of these post stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, 5 rows of them. And if you want to go on to the 2 more rows of V-stitches and the row of clusters, that's fine, but I'll pick up the next video on those, so I don't make it too long for the first one. But then all I have to show you is the cluster rows, because that's the only thing that I haven't showed you yet. I've showed you everything else for the shawl, but even this yarn that I picked has a self stripes and changes colors, and so I guess it's all in the yarn too that you pick to do the shawl, how it turns out too. But I really like the shawl, and I like the patterns, and I like how it flows. So we will pick up on row 13 for video 2, and it only goes to row 19. Yeah, I only have to take you to row 19 because they're just repeating rows. So if you join me today, I thank you for joining me, and there will be one more video for the shawl. And you can even change the amount of rows you put in it. You know, you can add more, you can subtract. If you don't like the clusters, you can leave them out. You can change it how you like it. That's always your option. You know, when you're doing something for yourself, you can do what you like. But I thank you for joining me, and I'll have part 2 up probably on Monday or Tuesday, because we are leaving for camping tomorrow. Well, this is Thursday, but tomorrow's Friday, so this will be out tomorrow. So it'll be out on the 7th. So I'll see you on Monday. All right, thank you very much.